It slithered down the chimney, the bulbous eye on the tip, looking around the room. Halloween was fast approaching, and the macabre decorations had already gone up. The eye descended further into the room, searching for something. It stopped and stared for a moment. The prey it sought was in the corner, sleeping soundly in a bassinet. Down and down, the tail came through the chimney, making its way to the sleeping baby. It curled around the baby's mouth and nose, silently suffocating it. The tail picked up the baby and started to bring it back towards the mouth of the chimney. It stopped and turned its gaze to where the sound had come from. A woman stood in the doorway, a look of pure terror upon her face. The tail quickly whipped back up the chimney from where it had come. She rushed forwards to the fireplace, looking up the flue, but could see nothing. Her husband came running into the room.
Where'd it go?
She gestured towards the chimney as the man ran outside the house. The silhouettes upon the roof sent a cold shiver down his spine. It was a sight he would never forget. It peered back down at him before flying off into the moonlight.
Hello?
Dr. Kloss.
Yes, who is this?
It's still there. Waiting. Never sleeping.
Who is this? What are you talking about?
Come back to Burkittsville. The children call out. The witch hearkens. Disappearances dating back to the 1700s. Strange sightings deep in the forest. Ever wanted to solve a mystery? Find a murderer.
Delve deep into the mysteries of the occult, or the mind of a murderer.
More than a murder mystery, Hunt a Killer puts you into the crime scene with original stories, authentic key items, and puzzles to solve.
During the Halloween promotion, get huge discounts on some of the best Hunt a Killer games.
It is the season of the witch, after all.
It's really immersive. I'm legitimately fearing for my life.
It's the perfect game with a couple friends. Or a date night.
Games are available in seasons or complete sets. The Haunted Woods bundle is 20 to 30 hours of playtime.
Check out the links in the description and use the code Lucius for $10 off.
Burkittsville needs your help. Come now, before it's too late.
What you working on?
New case just came in. Massachusetts.
Massachusetts, eh? Like Salem, Massachusetts? Witches? It's almost Halloween. Wouldn't it be great if it were witches?
Quite some imagination you have there, Chen. No, not Salem, and no on the witch thing too, though there are certainly some unmistakable similarities.
So, what is it then?
Well, the victims reported a long, rat-like tail with an eyeball on it coming down their chimney and stealing their kid.
A rat tail. With an eyeball.
Yep.
I don't like rats.
I never said it was a rat. They caught sight of it as it made off on, get this, a flying spoon.
A rat on a flying spoon? Funny, Doc. Almost had me.
It wasn't a rat, but what appeared to be an old lady.
Grandma Rat Spoon. That's it. I'm done with you.
Chen! Grandma Rat Spoon. Kind of catchy.
He turned back to his computer and continued his search. What Chen had said stuck with him as he typed in the search phrase, Grandma Rat Tail Spoon.
Well done, Chen. Well done.
This better not be about your Granny Rat Spoon again.
Grandma Rat Spoon, and yes, it is.
Okay, I'm out of here.
Look at this, will ya?
Kloss pointed down at the huge silver spoon on the floor. Is that a rat spoon?
Yep. This skip was captured a few centuries ago and decapitated. We've had the spoon and the remains of her body in storage since the 1700s.
If that's the case, how is she flying around still? A copycat? Ratsurrection? You see what I did there?
Amazing. Your humor never ceases to amaze me.
And me. Jesus would be rolling in his grave.
Yeah. What's in the box?
Bodily remains. Not much but some dust and bones at this point.
So, what's the point of talking to Her Majesty then?
Glad to see you're finally giving me the respect I deserve.
I'd like to get a first-hand experience of what this grandma was about, hence the spoon and Pythia.
Fantastic. Let's get this over with. They were in an old-fashioned farmhouse. It appeared to be late at night. The fireplace had a few smoldering logs left in it. A man sat at the table, head down, passed out drunk. Nearby the fireplace sat a cradle with a baby asleep. A long rat tail slipped down the fireplace, its huge eyes searching the room. It saw the man, deep asleep, and slowly creep towards him. Once it was certain he was asleep, it turned its attention to the baby. It would make a fine meal indeed. The eyeball suddenly winced and looked back in pain. The man wasn't asleep at all. It tried to escape back up the chimney, but found it couldn't. He looked at the eyeball and yelled out,
"Not again, you foul creature!"
as he hammered another nail into the tail. She pulled and pulled, but it was no use. The bite marks at the base of the tail, evidence she had tried to bite her own tail off. In the bowl of her spoon laid another baby. It was too late now. They had her. The man approached and threw the heavy sack over her head. They tried different ways to rid themselves of her, but so far, nothing had worked. They bound her and threw her into the river, but instead of drowning, the water boiled, and despite no air, she continued to live. Next, they attempted to burn her at the stake. The flames grew and flickered in varied colors, but the only result was that of nausea and migraines for the people standing near. When they took her from the stake, her body was severely burnt, but yet she lived on. The final attempt, however, had seemed to work. The executioner brought the heavy iron axe down upon her neck, severing her head. The body quickly decomposed into bones and dust, but yet the head lived on. It was then that they decided to seal the head in a chest and hide it where no one would come upon it ever again. Isn't this a little like finding a needle in a haystack?
A little, but we know from the records where these events were happening. That's a start.
Now all we need is the Pied Piper to track down that head.
Well, we're gonna have to be the rat catchers this time around.
The helicopter set down nearby the old farmhouse. It appeared little had changed in the few hundred years that had passed.
This is the same house. Let's look around and see if anything comes up.
I've got a better idea, Doc.
And what might that be?
Well, instead of being the Pied Piper, let's let them be the Pied Pipers.
What in the world are you talking about?
Take a look. Chen pointed to the ground in the distance. A few rats were scurrying off into the forest.
Let the rats lead the humans. Good idea.
They followed the rats into the forest. About half a kilometer in, they came upon a dead, gnarled tree. How's that for a stereotype? Bet you $50 we'll find the head at the base of the tree.
Though I'm tempted to let you do that and make $50, it's not buried.
How do you know?
Look up a little higher.
In the middle of the tree, blended into its trunk, was a chest. You ready for this?
Go for it.
Man, I hate rats. Not that fond of grannies either, actually.
Would you just open it already?
Empty. There was nothing inside but a slip of paper.
Open it. Pass me the coffee.
What makes you so sure Grandma Ratspoon's gonna turn up here again?
It's about as good a spot as any. Anyway, we have agents all over the area and we're monitoring the police frequencies. If she shows up, we'll get her.
On it. We'll get the chopper. Reported sighting 15 kilometers from here, heading northbound at speed.
Let's get on it.
They circled the reported sighting area, but nothing was apparent yet.
You sure this is the area?
We've moved a little further in the direction she was heading. But yeah, this should be it.
All right, let's keep searching for another 20 minutes, then call it off.
Roger. Wait, what's that? Chen looked through the sniper rifle's sights. There, on that rooftop. Drop down. As they descended, she suddenly flew up and into the skies. Get on her! Don't let her get away! The helicopter increased speed and closed in on her. Bring me alongside. Chen took aim. Yuck! That is one nasty rat. He fired the rifle. She fell from the spoon and went crashing down into the trees. Direct hit. Circle back and find a nearby place to land. He rushed through the trees, heading to where she had crashed into the ground. Chen stopped above the body, looking down.
What is it? Did you get her?
See for yourself.
Explain this to me. You shot her down, but the body and spoon were all you found?
Well, just the spoon now. The body decayed into dust and bones before we could even get it back to the Foundation.
Is it possible that our sharpshooter here blew her head right off?
I know that's supposed to be an insult, but I take it as a compliment.
The neck wound doesn't appear that way. It looks severed, cleanly. But that's why we need you to clarify.
All right, let's take another look.
They were in the forest. The rat woman laid on the floor. She appeared alive, but hurt. A figure stood above her.
Best we keep you for another day, lest our friends from the Foundation get a hold of you.
He bent down, a sharp knife in his hand.
That's that then.
He said as he stood up, the head in his hand.
And to you, Kloss, watch your step. Cyrus knows of your oracle, and a great deal more. We'll be seeing you soon.
SCP-6097. Object Class: Neutralized. 6097 was an anomalous humanoid entity, active in North America for a brief period during the early 18th century. 6097 was described as physically resembling an elderly human female, dressed in tattered clothing, with fine silver hair covering much of the face and torso. Its most distinctive feature was that of a long tail attached at the base of the spine, likened by witnesses to that of a common rat, with a single, swollen eyeball protruding from the tip. 6097 formerly possessed a large spoon, designated 6097-1, made from an indeterminate metal alloy, which it is believed to have used as a means of transportation. Reputedly, while 6097 was sat atop the item's handle, 6097-1 became maneuverable and capable of flight at speeds of no less than 50 kilometers per hour. Periodically, during the early hours of the morning, 6097 descended upon various North American settlements throughout the New England region. Upon arrival, 6097 would consistently land on the rooftops of civilian homes and poorhouses, before extending its tail down the structure's chimney. Should it sight a child below the age of 18 months, it would proceed to wrap its tail around the infant's mouth and nose, suffocating it, before placing the victim's remains in the bowl of 6097-1. Forensic evidence suggests that between appearances, 6097 resided in a small wooden cottage located in forest in Maryland, where the charred and partially consumed remains of multiple infants were excavated, all dating from between 1724 and 1729. Its remains are presently preserved at Site 44's Biological Anomalies Unit for further study, while -1 is kept in a standard item storage locker. Fairy tales and folklore give us insights into our collective past, not to be taken literally, but they do warn of danger. Be careful of strangers. Keep an eye on your young ones, and be wary of the disease-spreading pests. As always, have a care, and remember to subscribe, like, and share. If you would. Until next time, farewell.